Hello, BookTube. Today's a bit of book haul day. I had today off, which was fun. Get my wild hair going here. I went to listen to get some books to go see what they had, and the guy was putting out restocking the shelves as I was shopping. So it's a thrift store or a charity shop, depending on what you call it, that I go to quite a bit. I'm back out here on my my little porch hideaway. This is a little room on our porch, so you can probably hear the cars a little better. They're right out there, but sort of a little hideaway for me. And during the winter, I don't come out here quite as much, but been outside a little bit today because it's a real pretty day. Bright blue skies. It's like 46 degrees Fahrenheit. It's beautiful, warm. It's wonderful, wonderful. So spring is coming to Vermont. Anyway, I got some books. I wanted to show them to you. Paperbacks are 75 cents. Hardcovers are $1. So I got a couple Robert Heinlein. I probably have these in, I don't know if you can see it here. Right behind me, so it's probably hard. You'll see right there. Those are like omnibus Heinleins from Science Fiction Book Club. So I probably had these, but they didn't cost much, so I thought I'd grab the paperbacks. This is a paperback I remember. The paperback cover, The Green Hills of Earth. And wonderful story. And then here is Orphans of the Sky, with not so good a cover. I mean, not for me. It's not one I remember. So let me see. Earth is overpopulated, bursting into seams with useless people in a world dominated by machines. The human race is restless. Now is the time for exploitation. A block of industrial tycoons plan the greatest real estate coup of all time when they sell the space-starved public a chance to become homesteaders on the moon. It was a great racket, but somebody else got there first. So, what was this? This is Signet Science Fiction. 60 cents when this came out. And this also is Signet, and this was 75 cents. So I just grabbed them because, I don't know, don't really have a good reason. Then this other one, I got to check to see if I already have it. Where are they at? This is Flashman. I'm a big fan of the Flashman novels. This is George MacDonald Fraser. Flashman's sort of like a send-up of the Empire, like a dig to the British Empire. So George MacDonald Fraser was born in England and schooled in Scotland. Served in the Highland Regiment in India, Africa, and the Middle East, and now lives on the Isle of Man. Well, not anymore. The Flashman Papers and several other novels. Fraser has written screenplays, most notably Richard Lester's The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers, and for the James Bond film Octopussy. This is Knopf, and this came out in 2000. So, the inimitable and appallingly appealing Flashy is back in a long-awaited new installment of the Flashman Papers. With the memoirs of Sir Harry Flashman, the notorious Victorian soldier and scoundrel, first came to light 30 years ago, it was finally revealed what had become of the infamous bully who had darkened Tom Brown's school days. So, pretty funny adventures and a bit of a tongue-in-cheek. So for those of you who like that sort of thing. This I was excited to find. I don't see these as often as I like to. This is Richard Woodman, Beneath the Aurora, a Nathaniel Drinkwater novel. And this is from the Mariners Library Fiction Classics. This was a Sheridan House. I always like these when I can find them, and I like his books for sure. Richard Woodman sailed on a variety of ships, rising through the ranks from apprentice to captain, a member of the Society for Nautical Research. He's author of some 24 nautical novels, including 14 titles in the Nathaniel Drinkwater series, as well as several non-fiction books. So this is the year is 1813. Captain Nathaniel Drinkwater succeeds Lord Dungarth as head of the Royal Navy's Secret Department. while the Grand Army of Napoleon faces defeat on the battlefields of Germany, the discovery of a secret treaty with America leads Drinkwater into the forbidden fjords of Norway in one of the most desperate missions of his career. Increasingly isolated and affected by the long war with France and her allies, Drinkwater pursues his personal odyssey against often daunting odds. In a compelling narrative, the author brings vividly to life conditions at sea during the Napoleonic Wars. The fate of one of Napoleon's most charismatic marshals is linked with American privateers, escaped prisoners, and the Danish Navy, resulting in a violent confrontation set beneath the Aurora. So these tend to be really good. I like these. Then I've seen these out shopping, paperbacks. I've seen paperbacks forever, but they're wider. I've noticed that recently. I actually think they're a little more comfortable to read. I sort of like them. And this is William W. Johnstone and J.A. Johnstone, Knife in the Heart, a Hank Fallon Western. So here, let me do this. If you were to compare this to, say, my old, see the size difference? They're laid out just a little bit different. So I actually like how they feel. And this writer, well, these are writers who were using his name. He's always on his guard. As both a prisoner and an undercover operative, U.S. Marshal Hank Fallon has faced down some of the most vicious, terrifying, cold-blooded thieves and murderers in the West. Now Hank is finally free, and he's got no intention of setting foot inside a jail ever again. But the new federal prison being constructed in Leavenworth, Kansas, needs a warden, and Hank is the right man for the job. He's got the scars to prove it, and the sheer muscle to keep the peace. But keeping these lawless hornets in their nest is no easy feat. When several escape before Leavenworth is at maximum security, they take Hank's family hostage. To save his wife and baby daughter, Hank will have to get down and dirty as the devil he's pursuing, and they won't be taken alive. And I can't read for some reason. So I'm happy to find that. Then this one here is an old, I don't know, what is this? I thought it was Barnes & Noble. I guess it isn't. This is The Greek, Life and Customs by E. Gould and W. Conner. Has an old bargain sticker price on it. It's a hardback. I couldn't pass it up. Let me see here. This is Konecki & Konecki out of Saybrook, Connecticut. Printed in the U.S. There's no date on it. Which is sort of odd. I'm sure it's older. I can look it up online. It's all about the life and customs of the ancient Greeks. I have to go through it and see how it is. And then, speaking of ancient Greeks, this is Magic, Reason, and Experience. G.E.R. Lloyd, Studies in the Origin and Development of Greek Science. Sort of on a Greek roll here. When did this... this is Cambridge University Press, Cambridge obviously. And this came out in 1979. This book is a study of the origins and development of Greek science, focusing especially on the interactions of scientific and traditional patterns of thought from the 6th to the 4th centuries BC. The starting point is an examination of how certain Greek authors deployed the category of magic and attacked magical beliefs and practices. And those attacks are related to their complex background in Greek medicine and speculative thought. In his second chapter, Dr. Lloyd outlines the development and assesses the significance of the theory and practice of argument in early Greek science, and follows this with a study of the development of empirical research. Finally, the author confronts and questions of why the Greeks invented science, what precisely was their contribution to science, and what social, economic, ideological, and political factors had a bearing on the growth of science in Greece. So, that sounds interesting. And then the next thing here is one of these New York Review of Books things. A little worn on the binding, not too bad. This is the New York Stories of Edith Wharton, selected and with an introduction by Roxana Robinson. So for 75 cents, I was not going to let this go. It's got a little bit of a crease here. New York Stories of Ethan Wharton gathers 20 stories of the city written over the course of Wharton's career. From her first published story, Mrs. Mainstay's View, to one of her last and most celebrated, Roman Fever. So I'll give those a shot. Can't go wrong there. And then finally, it's funny because my daughter just did a paper on this, and then I find the book afterwards. The Barbarian Wars, American Independence in the Atlantic World by Frank Lambert. Very excited to find this. Subject that interests me a lot. Hill and Wang, a division of Farrar, Straus, and Giroux, New York. And this is from 2005. American independence was secured from Britain on September 3rd, 1783. On October 11th, 1784, the American merchant ship Betsy was captured by Sallee rovers, state-sponsored pirates operating out of the ports of Morocco. Algerine pirates quickly seized 2 more American ships. The boats were confiscated, their crews held captive, and ransom demanded the fledgling American government. The history of America's conflict with the piratical states of the Barbary Coast runs through the presidencies of Washington, Adams, Jefferson, and Madison. The adoption of the Constitution, the quasi-war with France in the War of 1812, the construction of full-time professional navy, and most important, the nation's halting steps towards commercial independence. Frank Lambert's genius is to see the Barbary Wars as the ideal means of capturing the new nation's shaky emergence in the complex context of the Atlantic world. Depicting a time when Britain ruled the seas and France most of Europe, the Barbary Wars proves America's earliest conflict with the Arab world was always a struggle for economic advantage rather than any clash of cultures or religion. We'll see. It does look like it has the usual illustrations and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it is. So let me see here. I'll make a little bit of a pile. Can't do much of one, but let me see. This will work. Make a Steve pile here. I think he went out to, I know he went out to Brattle yesterday. So probably out there right now as I speak, right? Here we go. So not a bad day. Getting a little chilly out here. Like I say, I don't use this room much, but glad to see spring is on its way. So I hope you all do well, and thank you, BookTube.